Making money online is kind of hard, but making money in person is a lot easier. If you have the right equipment, you could literally get up right now and go start making some money. Or at least that's what a lot of these creators say. So I'm gonna be trying out some in-person side hustles and knocking on doors to get customers. You might be wondering, after I knock on their door and they answer, what am I actually gonna be trying to sell them? Well, I'm gonna try car detailing and landscaping / lawn mowing. And I'm gonna keep a counter up here to track which one actually makes more money. Starting with landscaping. I went and picked up my friend, and since it takes really no skill and we already know how to use our equipment, we got straight to knocking on doors. Whereas with car detailing, me and my friend had to practice on our cars just to make sure we knew what we were doing. So after walking around and scouting some lawns, we knocked on a few doors. But everyone said the same thing.
Oh, no, my wife has a company that does it twice a month.
Until finally, after getting rejected 3 times and 20 minutes passing looking for lawns, the 4th person said this. Yeah, I accidentally recorded a time lapse, but here's basically what happened. Hi, we were just talking to one of your neighbors about mowing their lawn, and we were wondering if you'd be interested in something like that.
I mean, how much would it cost?
Yeah, so since we're already in the neighborhood, we could do it for pretty cheap. Do you just want this front lawn done?
Yeah, just here and then down the side over there.
Okay, yeah, since it's not that big, we could just do it for only $10.
I mean, sure, that sounds good. I'll just be out here watching you.
Okay, sounds good. I'll just be back in 20 minutes. I have to go get my mower and weed whacker real quick. And so I went home to grab the equipment.
So that's the big thing, but this is the thing that we're gonna use for this yard. It does have spider webs all over. It's really dirty. I want to see if it'll even start, actually. I don't even know if it has gas in it. Okay, it has something in there. I'll see if it'll start.
Yeah, I got it to work, but I had a new problem.
All right, so good news, it starts. I'm gonna see if I could fit this in the car. I don't think I will. I think we're gonna have to walk it to where he is.
There was absolutely no way I was gonna be able to fit that lawnmower in the back of a sedan. So first I grabbed the weed whacker and a broom and tried to fit them in my back seat. I had to roll the window down, and I think I'm gonna have to detail my own car after this because it did get kind of dirty. And somehow by taking everything out of the trunk and leaving the hatch open, I was able to barely fit the mower in. So I carefully drove to the client's house and we got started. It was a really quick job, and I didn't really record because he was watching us the whole time, but it only took about 15 minutes.
All right, Umberto. How do you feel we did that for $7?
Not that great.
You think it was too cheap?
Honestly, yeah.
It only took like 15 minutes though. It's not bad.
And before we knocked on some more doors, a different neighbor invited me and my friend for some lemonade, and it was a hot day, so we definitely could not say no. So within an hour, although it was cheap, we were able to get our first job with landscaping. But let's switch over to car detailing. Even though the equipment needed for this is probably cheaper for a beginner, I didn't have a lot of the stuff that we needed. But I watched a video to find everything I would need, made a checklist, and tried to find the stuff that I already had. I found a lot of the things that I needed, but some of the stuff was kind of used, old, and questionable.
Oh, hell no, man.
But I had enough to get started with, so after grabbing some random stuff I had, plugging in my vacuum, and emptying out a couple buckets, I called my friend over. We were gonna practice on the exterior of my car and the interior of his. So I started with the exterior of mine, rinsed it off, and then started washing it down with some car wash soap, but we ran into a problem. For whatever reason, every time we would try and wipe it down, it would leave some sort of streaks or marks. And my solution wasn't that it was our fault, it was to buy better equipment. And so we went to the store.
Looks like we should have gone with landscaping. Yeah, I think this one might be good. No, I do not.
We bought a few things, but first I wanted to try out this tire cleaner and brush.
This is actually nice.
And it worked pretty well, but we rewashed the entire car and tried drying it with our new towel. It worked better than before, but it definitely was not perfect. So next we tried putting on this polish that we found at the store, but it went really bad. Yeah, I don't even know what happened. We followed the instructions on the bottle, but I'm probably gonna get flamed for this in the comments.
Yikes.
And this seemed like a good time to switch back to see how knocking door to door mowing lawns was doing. Because how that polish turned out is a perfect summary of how car detailing was going. So a little flashback. Me and my friend just finished mowing a lawn for $7 each, and we stopped at our neighbors because they offered us lemonade. But mowing that small lawn for only $14 was all part of the plan because we now could say this. Hi, how's it going?
Good.
We just got finished mowing your neighbor's lawn. Yeah, that gives us a lot more social proof being able to say that we helped out their neighbor. But it still didn't get much easier to get jobs because this was the response we got most of the time.
Oh, no, my wife has a company that does it twice a month, actually.
Twice a month, really?
Yeah, they should.
But like a true annoying door-to-door salesman, I couldn't stop at just one rejection. I had to keep going.
But I appreciate the offer.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it for pretty cheap just because we're already here and we have like all the supplies. Like it's my lawnmower's hanging out the trunk right now, just because we did your neighbors.
How much?
And it kind of worked. I mean, he went from, no, we already have a company that does it, to asking how much we charge. Let's see, do you want the back done at all or just the front?
Hey, Suze.
He brought out what I'm assuming is probably his wife, and we re-explained our pitch to her, and she also said this.
How much would you charge me?
Do you want the front and the back, or? Okay, I'd have to probably just see the backyard just to see how big it is. All right, let me just check. Go around real quick.
let you go back and take a look.
Yeah, so he said he'd let us take a look at his backyard so that we could give them a price. And apparently the only way to see his backyard was by actually going through his house. So me and my friend actually willingly went into a stranger's house. Mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I'm okay, and I think I could take both of them in a fight if I needed to. So we went to a window where we could see the back, and we gave them a price.
We could do it for about $40 if that works for you guys.
How's that sound, Suze?
They had their company coming the next day, so they just had us write our names down and numbers so they could cancel with the other company and have us mow and weed whack their lawn. So we successfully got a future client, but we went and knocked on some more doors so we could make some more money right now. We went on a streak of like 5 houses with no answer until we finally got an answer, and I guess I was so surprised that I could not stop stuttering.
Hey, how's it going? We just finished mowing one of your neighbor's lawns just down the hill a little bit.
Okay.
We were wondering if you'd be interested in something like that.
You know, normally I would say yes, but my boyfriend actually owns, so he does the mowing.
He doesn't mow.
And just like the last house, she denied us, but I kept pushing a little bit.
I mean, since we're already here, we could do it for a good price though. We could do it for pretty cheap.
Oh, he would probably get upset.
But I could tell she was not interested, and unlike a typical door-to-door salesman, I actually left her alone. What?
Thank you guys.
You have a good day though. Yeah, thank you.
So we headed to the next house that was extremely overgrown and knocked on their door. But since I started pretty bad on the last house, I was trying really hard not to mess up and just listen to my pitch.
Hi, we just got finished finished mowing your neighbor's lawn. We were wondering if you were being interested in something like that.
Oh.
But somehow she didn't decline us right away and asked the golden question.
How much do you charge?
So we did what's typical and walked around to see how big the yard was. But one thing I forgot to mention earlier in the video is that the mower didn't actually have a bag, so the clippings would go all over the place. That's usually fine on a smaller lawn, but since this was so overgrown, the homeowners asked us if we could rake it up and put it in a trash can and throw it on the edge of their backyard. And so we said sure, but this is how much we agreed to do it for.
40.
Sure.
Yeah, looking back on it, it doesn't seem like that much, but it was a ton compared to the last job we did for $7 each. And on this channel, I've done some things for a pretty low hourly wage, like last summer where I was mowing lawns for almost $5 an hour. But we had a big job ahead of us, so we got started.
My friend's getting started weed whacking.
And while my friend weed whacked, I mowed. And there was definitely some spots that we had to go over a couple of times. The worst part definitely though was raking up all the grass, putting it in the bin, and dumping it out back because the lawn was really overgrown. What you're seeing in this video is like the 3rd time we went over the lawn and just raked as much as we could. But before we get to the results of that, let's switch back to see how car detailing was going. When we last left off, we applied the polish that did not go very well after not being able to dry off the car without any streaks. So we switched to cleaning the interior of his car to see if we could do any better with that. We started off by just taking out some jackets he had in his back seat.
It's not we can take that stuff out.
Then I vacuumed while my friend used some of the interior cleaning supplies we picked up earlier, like a brush, some rags, and an interior cleaner. And I'm not gonna lie, vacuuming was pretty satisfying. And don't worry, I didn't do this crappy of a job. I just wanted to get another shot of me vacuuming, and it was kind of hard to clean and record. But I took the mat out, cleaned under it, did under the seats, just made sure everything was clean. And as far as we could clean, it looked pretty good, but the seats did have some stains, and I have no clue how to remove those. I've seen people use some special vacuums, but we didn't have one of those, and I don't think we could have used any of the supplies we had to remove them. I wish I had some more shots to show you, but to be honest, I didn't really record any because I wasn't super confident we were going to be able to do a good job after what happened with the exterior. And before I get into what we did next, let's check back in to see how mowing that lawn was doing. So we mowed, weed whacked, raked the clippings, put it in a bin, and threw them out back. I didn't record a ton because I didn't even know we were going to turn this into a video at the time, but it ended up taking about an hour and a half. We made $40, so divide that between 2 people equals $20, and divide that by 1.5 because it took an hour and a half, and we made, yeah, less than minimum wage for some manual labor work. But hey, it's a dub in my book because we're past the $5 an hour we were making last summer. And we decided to knock on some of the neighbors' doors because the guy we just mowed for was pretty well known in the neighborhood, and saying that we just helped him out could definitely help us get another lawn. Me and my friend were already pretty tired, and we weren't really expecting to mow another one, so I didn't even record us knocking on the first door, but the lady actually said yes. Of course, at first she wasn't interested, but I kept budging a little bit like I had done with the last couple of people and said we could do it for only $15. And she just handed me a $20 bill and said she had to leave, but to get it done. So I was like sick and we got started. It was a pretty easy one to do and it only took us about 20 minutes. So we made sure everything looked good, and I left a note for her and slid my number so that she could possibly call me if she wanted us to come back another time. And after that afternoon of work, we were left with a grand total of $74, which is not great at all, but most of the time was spent knocking doors and we were still kind of practicing. As far as car detailing, things weren't looking so great either, but instead of making a small amount of money, we made none and left our cars looking mid. And it took longer than it should have.
It's been 2 hours and 22 minutes. We did the exterior of mine, the interior of his. I'm gonna clean all this up. That sucked. And it didn't even get really that clean.
And the next day I went back and mowed some more lawns in the same neighborhood. I've mowed this one guy's lawn in particular a couple of times, most recently doing it myself for $50. So should you try either of these things? I think that you should, and even though me and my friends didn't show a great example, that's the reality sometimes. Once you get better, you can get more paying clients and start charging even more. Or in the case of car detailing, even get your first client. And then from there, obviously you could just outsource the work to other people for cheaper. Either of these things or any door-to-door service like even window washing is a great thing to start if you just want to make money right now, because you can go out and just do it. With making money online, usually it takes a bit to get the ball rolling, but with these service-based jobs, you can just make money pretty much instant. Try each of these out or whatever else you want to try and just start. You don't have to be perfect. But if you thought this video was entertaining and like content about money, then I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. More videos coming soon, but I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.